Oh, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal at last. Sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late here. Um, these things happen. Just a very big welcome to you, and hopefully, we're going to have lots of fun. Whoa, all sorts of people. Hi there, Is. Good to see you. Hi, Jody. Hi, Noah. Good to see you as well. Uh, well, I always think that the 1.5 million views is the one that blows me away now. In fact, it's over that now, but it is amazing, isn't it? That I could sit here and potter around and we end up with the incredible people that we do. But it's great fun. Hopefully, we're going to have some fun tonight. One of the viewers, can't remember who it was. I'm, I can almost see her. Sam, was it? Anyway, asked me if I could make lasagna from scratch. And I've never done it. So you know me, I'm up for a challenge. No, I didn't practice it this week, didn't do anything. But I thought, it would be a fun thing for everybody to see that it hopefully isn't that difficult. And I don't think it is. But I also have some other things that I want to do. I'm going to make a drink today. And the drink I'm going to make is an orange, apple, lemon. I probably throw in some cranberries because I'm trying to use those up. And knowing me, I'll probably add some cinnamon in there as well because it's good for me. I'm then going to use the pulp. Oh, thank you, Jody. Jody says it's 1.575.8 million views. Wow, isn't that amazing? 107, 575, 76,000. Wow, 1,576,000. That's quite something, isn't it? Anyway, we're going to make, with the pulp from the making the drink, I'm going to put the pulp in some bread and to show you that if you're thinking about how can I, save money, well, don't throw the pulp away if you don't like pulp in your drinks that you make. Use the pulp in other things. So I'm going to use the pulp in a bread. So I'm going to make a cranberry, apple, lemon, orange type filling for some bread. Worth a try, right? And then I'm also going to make some regular bread because I need some. Then and we're going to do the pasta after that. So I can get the bread cooking while we make the pasta and talk about things we can do with that. So we good to go? As usual. Anything can happen, people, because we do it live. And I am not a professional of any sort in terms of cooking. My whole aim is to show you more than anything else. My whole aim is to show you that, we can cook so having so much fun if you don't worry too much about getting it all right. You can just enjoy it. And that's what I aim to show you. I thought I'd show you a trick that I do. For those of you who make bread, I actually put a plate on top of my dough. And what I do is every time I attend to it, I put the time that I looked at it. So this is my bread dough here. And it hasn't risen as much as I would like, but that's okay. I don't mind a dense dough. Um, but I just wanted to show you that what I do is I stretch it every half hour or so. So we're going to do that. I got you will notice that is not the air fryer. Sad news, the death of the air fryer. For those of you who saw my air fryer last week, it lasted about 10 days, and then it was baking bread, and it just died on me. So it's going back again. And then I thought about it, and I thought, this workhorse has worked for me for over 15 years. And I realized it really is an air fryer. Why? It's a convection toaster oven, a big one. And I'm thinking maybe I don't need another one at the moment. Maybe that's what the message is. And maybe it'll be better in the new year or something when I can get an even better price. So I'm just going to let the workhorse that I've had all along do its trick. So I've put it up to heat there. But first, let's make the drink so we can put the bread, the pulp into the thing. So what I put a slice of lime in there. Why do we have the citrus? The citrus is to stop the apple from going brown. All right, we're going to take the label off. And we're just going to cut up the apple in big chunks. I don't need small chunks because I've got a machine that copes with it. And then I just always take the top end as well, like that. That goes in. Now then, how many of you are going, so if you're using Nigel the Ninja, you can use the core as well. And I'm going to. That's because I forgot. But I don't want the stem. Okay, so the core is going in. Now then, how much of an orange can you use? You know, I like to take the ends off. All right, and I throw those in and let them dry because the ends of my citrus I use for my water. It's got the end of a lime in there and the end of an orange, okay? And quite honestly, you can easily, literally, do the whole lot. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about that is because I've got the sweetness of an apple, that's good, but there's a lot of good nutrient in the skin of an orange. Just make sure you wash them well beforehand. And now I'm going to grab some water. Got some filtered water here. I've just got some onions cooking there. All right, so I think I need a bit more. Cranberry, the raisins. Cranberries, good. Some cranberries in there. All right. And so I'm just going to take it and let Nigel the Ninja pulse it. That's a noisy thing, so that's why I'm going to take it away. Hold on. All right, now here I've got my nutmeg, no, what you call it, nuts bag. I think Jody knows these things. All right, and so I'm just going to strain it. the cranberries stayed at the bottom. Now, wash those properly later, but that's just getting the worst of it off so it doesn't dry on there. Okay, so there's the juice. Oh, it smells really good. All right, now then, Jody, in your own time, and I should have given you a heads up beforehand, but I didn't, and that's why I love you. For those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin. Oh, that is perfect. Okay, so really recommend that. What can I taste in there? I can taste the orange, but there's just that bite of the lime in there. I'm glad I changed it from lemon to lime. And the oils of the peel, you can just taste that, but it's not bitter. It just gives it a tang. Well-known culinary thing. All right, now then, people, there is a lot of pulp left over. Now, you all know that there's a lot of goodness in here, all right? And so what I want you to do is, as a group, tell me how else could you use this pulp? I'm going to add it to bread just because I've never done that. It's just like, okay, let me experiment here. And first of all, I'd like to tell you that if you use silicone molds, always make sure they're on a solid base, right? Because these things, they shift around and you get burnt really easily. So if you notice, I've got them on a rack, so I don't have to be manipulating them. I am just manipulating the whole rack. Oh, interesting. Add the pulp to meatballs or meatloaf. Good idea. Yeah. And what about inside some muffins, maybe later this week? So we know there are all sorts of things that we can do to it. You know, obviously I can add it to other smoothies because it's now pulped and I can just add it. What if I made it into ice cubes and then just dropped one or two into each smoothie that I make for the rest of the week? Good idea? I think that's a very good idea. My only problem being, do I have room in my freezer? So I'm going to put some of it away immediately because I think that's a great idea to do that. Just make these into ice cubes. I don't know why I didn't think of that before in my lifetime. It's funny the things that come to me while I'm talking. But the question is, how many of you would just throw the pulp away? And I'm saying, don't do that. All right? We will halve our carbon footprint if we realize how much food we throw away that we don't need to. And that is part of the problem. We just keep throwing things away when in fact grandparents would have reused them for good reason, right? This is where the goodness is. Okay, so, oh, I need some of it, don't I? This is so exciting, people. I don't know why I find it so exciting, but I do. I'm trying to see where the comments are here. Well, you know something, Jody, you're saying that you thought using it into meatballs or whatever. I would say just the fact that it's sweet doesn't stop you from using it in a burger or something, right? It would add really nice taste to it. So I don't think it's a fibro fog. I think you actually are quite right. All right, so what I'm going to do is get my bread dough, and I'm just going to halve it. Now I make a very dense bread because I have rye and stuff in mine. So just bear with me on that one. And what I'm going to do is just takes a little bit of this goodness and then I need some flour, people. A bit more flour. Oh, I was going to add some cinnamon to it as well. Okay. I can do that. So this is going to be like a sweet type dough. I like the idea of this. Festive even. Of course, now it's more liquid than it was, and it was already pretty liquid. So that's why I'm going to need some more flour in there. And how much flour will, it's just, I will just add enough flour that it holds together nicely. A bit more. Yeah, it's getting better. All right, so now it's holding together. And now then, Jody, silicone, do you oil yours before you put anything in them? Now, the reason I'm asking is these are brand new to me. I've washed them today, but I haven't done anything else. So I've got a feeling that probably a good idea to spray just a little bit of oil, put a little bit of flour in there just to make it easy to get it out of there. I'm waiting for guidance here with very sticky fingers. So let me see what Debbie said. Yep, she does use oil. I had a feeling that it's a good idea. All right, so excellent. Oil. Would you use olive oil or canola oil? I love doing this collaborative cooking with Jody. This one is, let me see which one she would recommend. Poor Jody. Long suffering. I want to. Yep, okay. I would have done as well, so I'm glad we agree on olive oil. And the olive oil is the one that's just got a little bit of rosemary at the bottom. Okay. And my thanks to whoever it was the other week who said to me, why don't you just mist it with oil? And I realized that my mister doesn't work properly anymore. So what I've done is I bought myself a couple of different misters, but do you see the completely different color? This is the canola oil and this is the virgin olive oil. Totally different color, right? All right, so now then, a little bit of flour in there as well. Okay, so we're pretty good. So we'll put the first one in. Okay, and then I'm going to need a little bit more flour on this one as well, the second part. And this is just my regular bread for tomorrow. And again, it's a bit stickier than I meant it to be. So I'm just going to add a bit more flour to it. Yeah, it's pretty good. Now, everybody's got their own way of doing this. What I do is after I've put them in, this one's not holding its shape as well, but we don't care, right? It's going to be fun anyway. I then just take a pair of scissors and right. Why do we put those slits in there? So that when it rises, which you may not do, when it rises, the air has a place to escape. Ah, Isabel, that's good because I'm just about to do that. Isabel's saying when she was watching a video this week, she saw them make lasagna inside a green pepper. Brilliant idea. Very healthy. All right, so now then, what I thought was, I would just put the second one of this over the top of it so that it will act as a Dutch oven and steam it. Will it work? I don't know. Sure. So, what was it? You just told everybody if you get a baked bread, put it on a rack with silicone. Okay, people, I'm technically challenged for a moment because I don't need that in there. Okay. We've got it at about 400. So we're going to let that cook for about 40 minutes. What I'm going to do is after about 30 minutes, I'm going to stick a probe in there and see what the inside temperature is. How many of you cook your bread and check the inside temperature? So what I do is I cook most of the bread, then I stick a thermometer in there, find out what the thing is, and then I leave the top so that I can brown the top. That's just how I do it. All right, so we have done that bit. Question. What do you think I do with what's left here? Anything? You know me pretty well. I put that in a small mason jar like this. And I add a little bit of water. And I just stir it up, and I use this as the starter for my next loaf of bread. I'll probably add a bit more the next day because what I've got all right, I've got one in the fridge that's good, and I'm just going to add this one to that one. And I will leave it on the countertop overnight, and it will turn itself into very nice yeast ready for my next baking. Waste not, want not. Okay, so it's going to stay right there. Flour can go away. This can go away. Oh, we're going to need the flour. So that stays. We can put these away. Hope that's going to work, people. All right. Pretty easy so far. Nothing goes to waste. No. You know something, Jody? I know it looks like I'm incredibly frugal. I try not to waste food. I spend a lot of money on food, but I try not to waste it. If I can, if it can serve a second purpose, I will try and do that. But it's just a little bit, you know. In here, there's going to be a slight tang of orange when I do it. I don't mind. It's just like, but the third thing is that it ends up in the compost, right? So it's all does double duty here. All right, so what's the next thing we're going to do? We're going to do the pasta dough. But I just want to get some meat cooking in here, so bear with me. Now, I saw a really good deal on some stewing steak. So I bought some, and what I've done is I marinate it. And I marinated it in soy sauce. By the way, I buy soy sauce in bulk, and then I decant it into the little doodad. Worcestershire sauce is in there, Montreal steak spice, and a bit of my lemon, pepper, salt type stuff. All right, so that's all that it's been marinating in. And I just want that to cook, because what I want to show you is we're going to do all sorts of things with that. I think I paid $10 for, I guess it would be about a pound in American, 500 grams in Canadian. All right, so in the meantime, we're going to make some pasta. Pasta is pretty easy stuff. All right. I think, as far as I can see, what ingredients do you need to make pasta? What do you think? And the question is, do I really need one of these? Probably not, but it's going to make it easier on my hands. So I do know that we're going to need some flour, but not regular flour. We're going to need something called Durham flour, which is semolina. Why? Any of you know? Let's see how smart you all are. Yeah, that's all you need, right? Some flour, an egg, maybe a bit of water, and some salt. So we've got the Durham flour. I've got the notes on here somewhere as to why we need Durham flour. It has to do with the consistency is more coarse. But there's a bigger reason why, and that has to do with what it's made of. Let me just find that for you. I've got it in my notes here, because I know that you guys would be interested in that. Semolina flour is made from ground Durham wheat. It's rich in protein, fiber, B vitamins, and may support weight loss, heart health, and digestion. We like that. Most people can enjoy semolina with no issue, but a small percentage of the population may not tolerate it due to its gluten or wheat content. And for those of us who are diabetic, it's one of those things we should have it occasionally. So right, what I got was a basic lasagna type recipe because I wanted to get the quantities right. It says 4 eggs. We're not going to make that much. Okay, we're going to do half this recipe. So we want 2 eggs. I'm going to huck those in first. 1, 2. Okay. 2 eggs, 2 tablespoons of water. Doesn't sound like enough to me, but we'll find out the hard way. Okay, and we need, oh, we actually only needed 1. It says 3.5 cups of flour. We're going to only use half of that, so that would be okay, so we've got 1.5 plus a quarter, 1 3/4 cups of this. We can do this, people. There's the 1. And about 3/4 of a cup. Okay, good. Half a teaspoon of salt. Himalayan pink goes in, and that is it. We're now going to blend that, see what happens to it. Now, as you can probably see, that's pretty crumbly. Okay? So let's see if it works anyway. Everything in life is an experiment. You want it to be. Ah. I'm just going to try and knead this. I think it might need a bit more water on it, but I could be wrong. Getting there. Now, for those of you who, like me, have arthritis, a really great way to knead bread or dough is use your rolling pin. And just by using your rolling pin, you will basically knead it. I still think this is a little in need of maybe a bit more water, but I could be wrong. And if so, I'll just put it back in. You get that out of the water quickly. And we'll just give it another little bit. But at the moment, I'm just trying to incorporate it all and see how it goes. It actually is sticking together nicely, so that's what we wanted. Doesn't need much water, so maybe I can just add it a little bit at a time. Yeah. It just feels a little hard to manipulate at the moment. Yeah, it's beginning to feel a bit better. This was the exercise program, people. Yeah, it definitely did need a little bit more liquid in it. But as I said, I've never done it before, so it's a first attempt. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this a little bit so we can work with small amounts. It'd be easier for me to work with. That was incorporated fairly well. So the question is, I have a feeling that you should be able to, it should be a little bit more malleable than it is. So we'll work with what we've got and see how it ends up. Again, we're going to add a little bit more water to it. The question is, why would you even want to make your own, is probably a question, when you can buy it so cheaply, right? I think just because it's nice to know the skill. When I say to know the skill, it's nice to know that if you needed to, you could, right? And really, when it's just an egg, flour, and a bit of salt, why not? So if ever you ran out, you could do it. Now, creative people, here we go. Obviously, we can make lasagna from this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make individual lasagnas, not a big one, just small ones. Okay, that's actually working quite nicely now, so I've got the consistency about right, I think. Okay, so there we go. And what I'm going to get is a ramekin, and I've got to think where in my life my cookie cutter is that I use for my ramekin. Apparently not where I'm looking. Okay, plan B is always a mason jar top. So let's put Okay, I'm going to put one layer there. And all right, now this is where we get to be creative. I like doing these fun projects. You know that, Jody. All right, so I think obviously there are the purists out there that know that I should be using XYZ cheeses and things. I'm not going to do that because I'm trying to use up what I've got rather than buy more. So what I'm going to do is put in, I've got some red Leicester cheese, which I'm going to put in. Because we know lasagna is always great. The cheese is in it, so we're going to crumble some of that at the bottom. What else have I got here? Oh, I found some spring onion that was in the freezer that I need to use up because of the power outage that I had. So I'm going to put some of that in. So we got cheese and onion at the bottom. I think another layer of pasta is required now. I might need some more of the dough. Good exercise, huh? Now you're probably wondering whether I've got the magic machine that actually works with this. I do, but for some reason I prefer to do it by hand so that people who haven't got the fancy machine can see it's all very doable if you want it to be. Yeah. So there we go. And then come on. So we've got that layer of pasta there. Okay, here we go. Tomato, I would think. Tomato and onion would be good. Or maybe it's time for a meat layer. Meat layer, you're right. Thank you for talking to me. So what I'm going to do, this is the reason why I've been cooking the meat, because I want it to be partially cooked. I'm going to do this the easy way. So I've got a couple of chunks of meat and some onion. I put a little bit of water to make it easy to grind up. some ground meat in there. Get some extra flavor for that, I think. So put some seasoning on top of that. That's good. All right, so now we need, oh, how about, I'm going to put some spinach and some Savoy cabbage on top of that. Hang on a second. I got a couple of bits of baby kale, so I'm going to put that there as well. Right, so another layer of pasta, or should we just put let's put the tomatoes straight on top of that. We definitely need tomato in this. So I'm just going to do a complete layer of tomato. Okay. And on top of that, we'll put a little bit of the salt. Seasoning. Very little. It's sort of like a lemon pepper salt mixture. Yes, that's going to be good and tasty. What I think is, let me see what the comments are here. I'm thinking that I need a sauce to go over the top of it. So I'm going to make that in a second. So I can do one more layer of the lasagna dough. And then we'll put the sauce over everything once it's made. Oh, you know something? I'm going to put some more cheese on top before I put the sauce on it. Okay. And again, what you can see is I'm using leftover. Perfect little portion size. Jody, this is, you taught me I can have anything I want as long as it's in portion control, right? So this is a wonderful size lasagna. One helping, can't go back for seconds. Done. And I really want to thank you. For those of you who weren't at the lunchtime broadcast, I just went and did my A1C, and for those of you who understand what that is, it came back 5.9, so all good. So basically what I have is diabetes that I control by my diet. And, I'm not on medication. And that's thanks to all that I learned from Jody over the last couple of years. So this is all no-no stuff. Pasta is a no-no. By the way, think about this. How could we have made this pasta even healthier? Maybe if we'd added spinach to it, maybe if we'd added tomato to it, we could have put that in the pasta dough itself, right? For next time. All right, so there it is. Okay. All right, so now let's try and remember. We've got a cheese and onion layer at the bottom. Then we've got the pasta again, and then we've got the meat layer. Then we've got pasta. No, we've got the meat, tomatoes, and then more cheese, and then the last bit of pasta on top. Okay? So does that look like a very nice serving of pasta? Now what I'm going to do is totally cheat a quick cheese sauce to go over it. Very simple. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of flour, like that. Should be more than enough. I'm going to put in some milk. Now, I found out that I've got a few too many of these string cheeses in my fridge. So I'm going to, yeah, it is. It's funny you should say that about the cookie cutter. I just tried to find it quickly. Actually, I could have done it. Maybe I still can. Hang on a second, I can do it, but in a different way, seeing as you asked. Okay, I'm just going to roll that off a little bigger. And although I can't find my cookie cutter, I do have this cutter. So I could do a scalloped edge around it with that. Make a plan, right? But absolutely, I agree with you, Iz. Right, so there we go. It's got a little bit of a scallop to it now. So put that on top. And absolutely, if I could have found my cookie cutter, it would have been very pretty, but I couldn't find it in time. That's okay. Back to this. We've got flour, we've got milk, I've got too many string cheeses, so I'm going to throw a couple of those in because I'm treating this cheese sauce quickly. And if you've got arthritis, these things are a bear to open up. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly give that a spin. seasoning in that. Not too much, because we already got some in there. And let's partially cook it. The reason that I'm partially cooking it is I want to make sure it's not too thick when it goes in there, because we need it to have plenty of liquid to cook the pasta. But I really like the idea of the cookie cutter on top. I've got other ideas coming up, people. You know that, right? One of them would be don't leave your plastic close to the oven while it's baking bread. Now, to be honest, normally when I make a cheese sauce, I would make a cheese sauce, quite a lot of it at one time, and then I actually freeze it. You know, I use what I need and the rest I have frozen, but my deep freeze is so full at the moment that I can't do that. So here we go. Okay, I'm just going to nuke it one more time in. All right, that's what you call instant cheese sauce. What's it got in it? A little bit of flour. Smells good. A little bit of flour, milk, and some cheese, all right? And now all I'm going to do is pour that over the top. And then help it down the side. All right, anybody, preferably Jody, if you can, Jody, could you find out how long I meant to cook pasta for? I'm thinking a few. I'm just going to put a dash of chili powder on top. Don't ask me why. Now, I'm pretty certain that it probably only needs to cook at about 350. So I'm not going to cook it yet. I'm going to make the second one. All right. But what I am going to do is just cover it because I don't want it all to dry out, obviously. Now, let's presume that you've just finished Christmas and you have got turkey left over. The question is, can we make some turkey bites? I think so. So what we've got, this is now pasta dough generally, right? And what I'm thinking is we could choose whatever we wanted to do with it from this point onwards. It doesn't have to be lasagna. So it's definitely a little solid, guys. So we'll keep just watering it down a bit till we get it right again. And I'm picking up some bits of cheese and stuff here as well. I don't mind. Exercise. What's this resistance training, right? Now, this is a really fancy rolling pin. It has all sorts of discs that you put on the end of it, the both ends, right? So if I can just show you this. Can you see how it's like it's got a disc on the head, and it's got all sorts of different ones that you can put on. But I think, actually, yeah, we'll just do the best we can with it. Jody's saying 375. All right, that's what I thought. So the bread temperature is way too high. So that's why I wanted to wait a while. Okay. See how the bread's doing? Well, it's looking good, people. Yes, I did burn myself. So we're going to take this up to about I find when you've got rye flour in there, you need to take it to a much higher temperature. So I'm going to take this to about 230. See if that works, okay? And so what I'm going to do is just put this in to about the center there. Put that on for another 20 minutes. If I find that the top is burning, then I'll do it right now because I'll just do the last little bit. I'm just going to put a cover over the top of the bread so it doesn't burn. Yeah. All right, it's already at 188, so we should be good. All right, back to the exercise program. But actually, this hasn't been too difficult to work with. Little takes a little bit of effort, but what I'm trying to show you is that you can sort of keep working with it until you've got it right. Oh, that works. Why didn't I think of doing that before? That's so easy. I'm not actually rolling it, I'm just pushing it. I'm trying to get it down thinner than the other ones. Oh, that's much easier to do if you've got arthritis. Okay, so we're now down to that thickness. Now I think I can roll it again. Yep. Now, obviously, I could have just used pre-made, but as a viewer particularly asked me to make it, I thought I would. So I hope you understand that's why this is taking longer than normal. All right. So now what I thought would be nice. Hi, Janelle. Good to see you. Oh, goodbye, Janelle. I'm thinking, what if we made, can we make ravioli out of this? Why not, right? So let's do that. So we're going to need going to take an ice cube tray. I don't know if this will work. I think we should put some oil on it to start with, so it will come out again. So we'll just put a little bit and we can use the little brush if I can find it. There we go. So all we need to do I still think that should come down a bit more. Okay, there we go. Trim off the ends. Next. And then I don't know how I'm going to get that out again. Okay, so all I've done is I've just popped them in like that. As I said, I'm not sure. I think I should create an end to it. This is being very creative now, people. Making it up as I go along. Just pick the sides. Pick some sides. There you go. This would be a bit like your stuffed shells, right? Jody, I know you like to do stuffed shells, so Now the question is, how do I get these out? Certainly there was an easier way to do this, but I didn't think of it at the time, so we'll just work with what we've got. Sort of works. Right. Have any of you tried baked pasta? Yeah, exactly. Sharon saying that she can remember as a child watching her great aunt and an Italian lady make ravioli from scratch. And that's really what we're doing. We're cheating it, but that's what we're doing. Okay, so we're going to take that. I realized that I could just do one layer over the other, which would be even easier. So let's just turn it into that. Yeah, it would be even easier, wouldn't it? Never mind, that's how we learn things. But you understand, if this had worked, it would have been very useful. But it didn't work well enough, I don't think. Okay. So what are we going to put in here? Hmm. So I've got some turkey. I'm going to finely chop that up. Put that on there. And on there. And put a little bit of the cheese sauce that I got left on top. And then let's put the other one. We need a bit of water at the edge, I would think. So really all ravioli is pasta dough with something captured in between it. Like so. All right? So I'm going to just put a hole in the top for steam to come out and tidy it up a bit. There we go. And then do the second one. Water. It is. Yeah. So these two are chicken ravioli. Now, question, how many different ways can we cook it? We could boil them, and that would work. But I'm going to actually roast these. I'm going to bake them. So I'm going to spritz them with a little oil. Because we know what's inside is already cooked, so we just need to cook the pasta. I will do that after the bread is finished. All right, any other things we can do with the dough? And what I'm going to do is explain to you that you could do 1,001 things with the dough, right? That's the whole point. I'm actually not going to do it necessarily, but do you understand you could make linguine out of this, you could make spaghetti out of it, you could do whatever you like. And I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it up because I've got enough for today, and I'm going to put this in plastic and I'll work some more magic tomorrow. But what I wanted you to see is it's egg, semolina flour, a little bit of milk, and some water. All right, and that's all you need. For those of you who love to entertain, I think you've probably heard me say this before, one of the best dinner parties I went to is where I arrived and we all sat around a counter like this and we made our own ravioli and filled it with whatever we wanted to while we had our drinks before dinner. Kimmy, while you are here, you got the okay to go home. That's wonderful, Kimmy. I'm so pleased for you. I was saying at lunchtime is that I hadn't heard an update. So, I'm so glad that you're safe after all those tornadoes as well. Okay, so do we agree that that wasn't really, doesn't really cause a lot of problem, right? It's fairly easy to do. Would you agree? So this I will keep in the fridge and I'll do some more with it tomorrow. What I've done is I've got some bacon here, which I will cook up. But also I've got some vegetable, stewed vegetables that I have done. So I'm going to mix bacon and the vegetable together and then put that inside some other ravioli type thing. I'm hoping Jody, sorry to ask you, honey, could you just see what temperature you're meant to bake ravioli at? Baked pasta. Kimmy's saying she's got a huge snowstorm coming in. We have 16 inches. Okay, that's a big one. We've got one coming in, but it probably will only be 1 or 2 inches, but ours is coming in tonight. So I'm looking forward to eating this, I have to say. What I'm going to do now is a couple of things about cooking with silicone. Okay, what I want to do is get it out of there. Okay, so there's just the regular bread. And this one is the one with cranberry and orange in it. How many of you are going, that's tasty? All right, so they're great. Now we're going to let that temperature drop a bit. 375. Okay, Jody, got it. And any idea how long, Jody? So 375 is also what we need for the lasagna. Is that right? I think you said that. Let me just check back. You'd probably remember because you've got a mind like a steel trap. So first of all, the breads were fine, all right? I haven't cut into them yet. I want to let them rest. But now I need something to cook that on. I've got so many things going here, it's not even funny. We can do this, people. Okay, so I've got a little mat. Oh, that could be perfect. I've got a little baguette thing. And I'm going to put these on there. All right, something's telling me some cracked pepper on top of that. So I will. And Jody, I think they would be great to dip into, mayo or something, right? A little snack later. Yum. All right, so this is 375. This is 375. And you're saying for the ravioli about 10 minutes, and the little baby, what's your best guess on the baby lasagna? Probably 20 to 30, I would think. Most of it's cooked in there. So that would be it. Now, I've got it all on a tray because I'm pretty certain that's going to bubble over. But let's start with the ravioli. See how that goes. 10-minute warning. Watch just died. That doesn't help. Okay, Jody, if you could. So I want to cut into this bread and see how it looks, but let me clean up first. And what I thought I'd do on Sunday is I thought we'd do cookies on Sunday rather than do a stress thing. What do you think? Because I've managed to find that do everything type cookie base, and I thought we would just, play with it, see what we could find. Still very warm. The kid in me is happy that it's hot. Hold on a second. Now, remembering what we did is we used the pulp from the smoothie Okay, we use the pulp from the smoothie to make this bread. You can probably still see the steam coming out of it. All right, so this is orange, cranberry, apple, and lime. All that pulp went into the bread. I wonder what it tastes like. Let's find out. Quite honestly, it tastes like multigrain bread. I luckily didn't put too much of the pulp in there. So absolutely, I would be happy to eat that. Oh, and now I've got a slight tang of the lime came through. Must have been a bit of the rind. It definitely works. Okay. Let's try the other one. Running out of room here, people. And this was my bread for the next couple of days. And you can you see the steam coming off it? So pretty good. Yes, Kimmy. If you remember, some years ago, I actually sent you the recipes for you making bread with gluten-free flour. So I'm delighted you're going to be doing it. That was fun. I'm actually surprised that this is a mild flavor to it. But you notice I'm getting a second piece. So not too strong. And I like that. That's a lot of butter. So. Just got a bit of cranberry. So lots of nice little notes, I think you would call it, right? Last time I got a bit of lime. This time I got a bit of cranberry. Can't taste the orange. Or not aware of it yet. And considering I made that up on the spur of the moment and didn't measure anything, absolutely encourage you to take the pulp from your smoothies, either freeze them, which I'm going to do here, freeze them and use them as ice cubes, or add them to your scones if you're making scones, or if you're making muffins or bread. All right, don't waste them. Try not to burn myself again. First one was bad enough. So Jody, I did 10 minutes on the first side, and they're just starting to turn in color, just so that you know. So I'm not going to do another 10 minutes on the other side. And it might take less than that, but it works. So my question to you is, do you think you could make lasagna from scratch? Allowing for the fact I didn't buy anything special. Actually, I lie. I needed to buy the semolina because I had it. I've got to admit, I did have it, but I only had there we go. No, that's coconut. Anyway, I only had a little bit. And so I was due to buy more anyway. So that's the only thing I bought. And just to say, I would definitely add more water at the beginning. All right, I probably double the water, quite honestly. Because it's easy just to add some extra flour to it if it's too loose. But that was difficult to roll. And what a great thing to do with kids. Right? Let them make their own. Somebody wants tuna in there. Somebody wants beef in there. Somebody wants chicken or turkey in there. You know, just let them make their own. And even when you're making those individual lasagnas, you have all the choices ready. What I would recommend is put all sorts of choices in muffin trays, you know, some ground beef, some ground turkey or chicken, and then, you know, some vegetables that they can put in, and just let them make their own. There is something about when you make your own, it tastes better. I don't know why that is, but it does. And do we have any other questions before I finish this? I can't believe that bread really surprised me. You can see the little chunks of orange in there. Can you see that? It almost looks like it's got corn in it, but it's orange. And it doesn't taste bitter at all. And if you think about it, that is all the orange peel that's showing through. Nothing wrong with that at all. So there we go. It does look good and it tastes good too. I'm going to look forward to that. But again, remember, you're talking and watching somebody who's a diabetic. And the most peculiar thing is, when you cook for yourself, I want you to hear this. When you cook for yourself, you know what's going in. All right? How many additives went into the pasta? None. How many additives are inside the ravioli? None. So when you look at it, it's a great way to use up leftovers after Christmas. It's a great way to have fun, you know, around, get everybody sitting around and, you know, everybody make their own little lasagna or two. I do believe that ramekin size, it's about a cup and a half, I think, is the perfect size, you know, to cook with. If you can't do that, you know, get mason jars. It'll cook beautifully in mason jars. And you could cook, you know, a whole series of those individual lasagnas in mason jars and then freeze them. All right? And make sure, one word of warning on that one. You've got two sorts of mason jars. The one where the top comes in like this, and then the wide mouth where it stays straight. If you make lasagna in this, even if it's a smaller one of this, you can Store it, turn it upside down, put some more cheese or some more sauce over the top of it, and some garnish, and it's done. It's a perfect, it's a perfect portion. This would be a seriously perfect portion for me, but I would have about half that. But I just don't have that size in my drawer here at the moment. So this is the whole thing. It's not about you can't eat things. It's about know what you're eating. The bread, just so you know, I make my bread dough about 50-50, about 50% white flour and 50% other flours and seeds. And the flour that I use in my bread, I use rye and whole wheat in equal amounts. And then I add flax, chia seed, and sometimes I add quinoa. All right. So, it's just like, but if you've got sunflower seeds, throw it in. But what I found is that when I bake my own bread, it doesn't spike my blood pressure too much at all. Oh, it doesn't spike my blood glucose. I think because of what's in it. It's pretty wholesome stuff in there. We've got a little bit of white flour for the cheese sauce. I could have used almond flour if I found it quickly, but I couldn't find it quickly. It's in there. I just couldn't see it. I would have made it with almond flour, at least 50% almond and 50% regular white flour. But again, the cheese sauce wasn't that much anyway. It ended up with, I would think, about a quarter of a cup, maybe half maximum. So not a huge amount of carbs in there. That's looking good. So everybody, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you can see all these things are possible if you want them to be. Or you can go, why bother? Let me just buy a packet of it. And my thing is, if you couldn't buy it in the store, could you make your own? And as you know, that is all. For those of you who missed the lunchtime broadcast, you will hear what happened to me when the power in my house, on the coldest day of the year, the power went out. And how did I get ready for it? I had heat. That was the good news. But how did I get ready for it? And what would I change next time? Not a whole lot. Jody, I'm glad you like the experiments. I must admit, it's always high stress because I never know whether they're going to work or not. I really love the silicone, by the way. I think I can just throw them in the dishwasher now, right? And the cleanup on it, if you look at it, yeah, basically nothing stuck at all. So, and they certainly came out easily enough, and they looked like they didn't burn on one side more than the other. If you look at it, Jody, this is all pretty even cooking all around. So that surprised me as well. I thought the bottom might burn, but no. So very happy with that, and very happy with using the second one as a Dutch oven. That also, I believe, worked really well. And remember that this dough hadn't really had time to rise properly either. So the fact that we ended up with a crumb like that, pretty darn happy with that. Now, what do you all think? That we should do cookies on Sunday rather than do a stress thing? Oh, interesting. Kim is saying, my grandson put the skylight in my room and put clouds and stars on the ceiling. It's so neat. I'm going to try to get one. What a good idea. Yeah, so I think what we're going to do, what I've got is a basic sugar cookie recipe, a basic one. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn it into all sorts of different cookies. What do you think? And that means I need to open up that box called baking and see if I've got any of the molds. Because, yeah, we'd like some pretty looking ones, right? Otherwise, Sandy will complain. Or is it Isabel that likes it to look pretty? It's Iz, right? And by the way, Sandy, um, the first of my Christmas cards hit locally, um, and it was really interesting to see the response I got from them. It was well worth all the trouble of making Christmas cards this year, and even though it took me forever. And it was so funny because what I found interesting was people knew how much work that must have been. And I thought that was lovely. They said that must have been so much work to make, that particular card. And I said, yep. And I said, and remember, I've got arthritis. So this is, but it was so worth it because the impact was so good. And I think, as I was saying at lunchtime, I think I've done all the Christmas shopping and I've got more than enough. And in fact, some will stay for little presents during the year. Do they know right off that you made it? I've got a sticker on the back that says handmade with love. Right? So it's just like, yeah, they knew. And by the way, Sandy, if they didn't, they will know. But like the price we pay for being creative, the price we pay, because we know it is much easier to go to the store and pick up a box of cards for the price of one of those that you make. And it's just like that, it's not the same. It is not the same. So there we go. I have had fun doing this, people. Thank you so much for whoever it was that asked me to do it. Thank you for asking me to do it. I definitely know if I did it again, I'd add more liquid. And I definitely know that I can do it if I needed to. So I'm a happy camper. This is Dear Mama Sal saying I love you dearly. We'll see you on Sunday when we will actually do some cookies. And I hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful time until then. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, I'm going to go and have that ravioli. And then for dessert, I'm going to have the, what was it? Lasagna. But the ravioli is ready now, so I'm going to eat that first. Maybe with some grapes. I think that would be nice. Bye-bye for now. Thanks, Jody. Doesn't want to stop.